Hey guys, so long time no video. As I said in the last couple of videos, I've been in the middle of planning the Eastern Bettas Society show that's coming up. It's actually this Saturday. So I just haven't had a lot of time to make any videos, and I really haven't been doing anything in the fish room, but I felt bad because I haven't uploaded anything in a while, and I decided I would do a short video, little update, and then hopefully I'll be able to post some videos from the show and maybe even do a live stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do a live stream or not. It's going to depend on, how the having a brain fart, how the Wi-Fi is at the hotel, but for right now, I just figured I'd do an update and kind of go over, maybe some info if you've never entered or even been to or heard of a betta show. Just kind of tell you what happens and how to go about entering fish. So, as far as what's been going on, not a whole lot. Looks like I have some patodi that are about to spawn. But haven't done any spawns. The goldfish that I got a few weeks ago went through quarantine really well and are now in with the other guys. You can see there's the new Orlando right there with the white face. And then the little black Moor is in here somewhere. I'm not sure where. He doesn't spend as much time with the rest of the group. He's a little bit more antisocial. But they're doing well. I'm just working on getting some weight onto them. You can see that he's really skinny compared to my other goldfish. But it's just going to take a lot of feeding to fix. He's already been dewormed and treated for any bacterial infections or anything like that. The cat wants to be on camera really bad, apparently. But so they're doing good. Susie's normal. Swordtail's down here are normal. They actually moved this pipe. This black pipe was over there next to the gray one, and I just came down here and it's moved all the way over there. I'm not sure how they did that, but somehow they did. There's a pair of normal bristlenose plecostomus in here I'm trying to get to breed. Mallow, go away. But I'm not sure if the plecos are big enough to breed yet. But I took them out and put them in here and gave them a couple pipes, and hopefully they'll lay eggs and make babies. And then the swordtails are just growing out. I'm probably going to take a bunch of these to the show and try to sell them. Well, looks like both of the plecos are in there, so maybe they are spawning. We'll see. Or maybe that's just one of them, I can't tell. In that black cave right there. But that's them. Nothing real special going on here. I moved Squirt, the little flower horn I got, into this 29 gallon. And he's doing good. I need to put some plants and some gravel in here for him, but flower horns really don't care about hiding spots and stuff. So the plants are really just for my benefit, not really for his. You'll notice his eye is still big. The last video I posted, I mentioned that I thought he had pop eye, but I've treated him with anti-parasitic meds, I've treated him with antibiotic meds, and even tried Epsom salt baths, and nothing makes that eye go down. So I'm thinking it might be damage from something, or possibly it's just some kind of defect. But otherwise he's acting really healthy. It doesn't seem to be bothering him. It's not getting worse. So I don't think it's anything serious. I just think that's how he is. But I am definitely keeping an eye on it. But he's doing good, and he'll be able to stay in this tank for quite a while because you can see how small he is still. What else is going on? Rubra are doing good. Still not sexable yet. I'm thinking it's probably going to be another month or two of feeding before I can tell if I have any females in the group that I got. There's one male right here in the front. I know it's hard to see due to the glare. And then the rest are all hiding in there somewhere. I did do one spawn recently. So I have some fry in here that are from my Milano pair. You can see them scooting around. But I've only been feeding them microworms. I actually decided to turn this spawn into an experiment. And so they're a little over 2 weeks old, and I've only been feeding them microworms. And so we're gonna see if they have their ventral fins when they get a little bit bigger. I'll start them on baby brine shrimp when I get back from the show so they can start growing well. But everyone says if you overfeed microworms, you get missing ventrals, and I've never ever had that problem. So I wanted to try feeding a spawn for a really extended period of time only on microworms and see if I can recreate that issue that a lot of people have with the ventral fins. Let's see, what else is going on? Down here is my pair. I've been trying to spawn and they're just not spawning. And they're kind of beating each other up, so I'm going to go ahead and separate them, but they act like they want to spawn, they're just not. And it's making me mad because I really wanted to get one more spawn from these giants. In here is a male patodi that is holding. I also have another male upstairs that is holding. I don't think we'll be able to see this guy because this is just like a complete jungle in here now. But he is in there. He is holding still. At least I'm pretty sure he's still holding. And he should be releasing his fry pretty soon. It's actually some kind of critter in there. I wonder if I can get it on camera. Oh no, it's not. But there's lots of infusoria in here. For when the babies are released. Have another pair in here. The female is actually the one that bred with the male that's in this tank. I just moved her over and gave her a new boyfriend because I'm trying to get several spawns of patodi going because I need to get them growing up if they're going to be big enough to show for next year, because it does take a while for these big wilds to grow. They don't grow fast like the domestic splendens do. But you can see the males in there, the females in there. They haven't spawned yet. I might need to feed them a little bit more. So for right now, they're just hanging out. Mallow, go away. He must be hungry. Right now, they're just hanging out. When I get back from the show, I'll feed them really well and they'll spawn. So let's see. Now we can talk about the fish, the show fish. What I did a couple weeks ago, because I knew I had several fish I wanted to take to this Bettas show, is I rearranged all my fish on my shelf. So I took all my fish, and on this shelf, and this shelf, I arranged the fish that are going to the show. And then all the fish that are not going to the show got put on the other side of the shelf, just so I could keep them organized. And there's two reasons for doing this. One is if you raise your fish and you put them in jars and you flare train them so that they'll flare at their neighbors. If you don't mix them up so they have new fish to flare at, they often can get scared when they go to a show because they're used to flaring at one certain fish that's been their neighbor since they were jarred. And they go to a fish show and they don't see that fish, but they have a completely different fish that's flaring at them. They can get scared. So you have to teach them to flare at any fish that they see. So what I did was I mixed everybody up and they all got new people, or I guess I should say new fish. They all got a new fish to flare at that they've never seen before. And you can see they're all flaring. I actually forgot to card them back up last night, so it's really a good sign to see that they're still flaring, even though they've been uncarded for quite a while. So these guys will be going to the show. I have fish that I've bred, and then down here I have fish that are going into the purchase classes. In the IBC, you can enter fish that you have bought into the purchase class, and so they compete against other fish that were purchased. They don't compete against fish that people raised, and the reason for that is if you put a lot of time and work into raising your spawn, you don't want it competing against a fish that was raised maybe on a farm in Thailand where they raise fish as their job. And of course, they're going to be able to produce like the best, most perfect fish if they're being raised in Thailand compared to someone who's trying to raise it in US that have US tap water and all the hardships that come with that. So that's the reason they separated it out into purchased and non. But if you have a Bettas show near you, you can enter your fish even if you don't breed. You can just enter them into the purchase class. So that's where these guys are headed. I need to do some water changes today. Everybody's been getting fed a lot. I've been trying to get some size onto my fish because a couple of them are a little bit too small. It's possible that they might even be disqualified at the show, but you know, it's better to enter them and have them disqualified than to never enter them and risk a chance of, you know, maybe you could have won if you had entered. So at least that's my opinion. But say you have bred your fish and you want to enter them into a show. How do you train them to be show fish? The first thing you have to do is card them. And when we say card, that means you take something. A lot of people use index cards, and that's where the card name came from. You take them and you block them so that they cannot see their neighbors, like this. And that's called carding. And what that does is, when the fish don't see other fish, they become territorial. And so they accept that their beanie or their jar or their tank, whatever you keep them in, is their territory. And when you remove the card and they see another fish, they're gonna flare and defend their territory against the fish that they see. And you can see that this green guy immediately started flaring as I pulled that card. So when you jar your babies, you card them up. Every day you need to take the cards away and let them flare. Usually what I do is, you know, 5-10 minutes before I'm going to feed them, I take the cards out, I let everybody flare for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I feed them, and then I put the cards back. And this is kind of like operant conditioning, like you would teach a dog. Like, the fish does the behavior you want, which is flaring, then you reward him by feeding him, and he associates flaring with food. And that's how you get them to really flare and really develop that aggression that is needed for a show fish. The other reason you want to get them to flare and teach them to flare, especially if you're raising long-finned fish, half moons, you know, something like this guy, is that they will not develop that half moon tail where it's shaped like a D. You can see right there he's flaring, his tail shaped like a D. They won't develop that if they don't flare. They actually have to stretch their fins out to get that really nice half moon tail. So it's important to flare train them so that they can get used to stretching their fins out to really get that nice half moon tail that everybody likes. The placots too really benefit from that, but it's really important in the long fin fish to get them to stretch their fins out. So once you've taught them how to flare, you also want to teach them not to be scared of weird objects. So when they're judged at a show, the judges they'll be carded just like that. The judges will come through and uncard the fish like I just did. Then they'll take a flashlight and they'll look at the fish. The reason they use a flashlight is so that they can see the best color of the fish. A lot of like the metallic colors, like this boy, they look different under normal room light and under flashlight. So they have to be looked at with a flashlight so they can see the colors. It also helps them see their form really well if they use a flashlight to look it up. So You want to teach them to be used to being looked at with a flashlight. You want to teach them to be used to seeing a pen, maybe, because sometimes the judges will be writing down their results right in front of the fish. My fish will actually usually flare at a pen. When I go through and teach them to flare, I will point, see, there he goes. I will, use a pen or something else to teach them. They'll do it with my finger. Get them used to flaring at everything. The best show fish are the ones that start flaring when they see you coming. Those are the best. I mean, obviously form and color are big parts of it, but deportment, which is what we call them flaring, that also plays a really big role in making a show fish. So, first you flare trained them. Then you've gotten them used to weird objects, pens, lights, all that kind of stuff, hands. Next thing you want to do is get them used to being moved. You can see I can move this fish around and she's not freaking out. She gets moved all the time. She gets her beanie picked up, it gets moved around, she gets looked at under bright light and normal light. So that's really good. The fish should not be scared. Bettas splendens is roughly translated to splendid warrior. These fish are meant to be aggressive. They're not meant to be scared or stressed. And so you need to make sure that your fish feels comfortable in whatever. This girl will probably jump at my finger. She wants food, but she's not scared of being moved. And then lastly, like I said in the beginning, you want to get them used to flaring at different fish. So this girl is from my plakat spawn, and this girl is obviously from my Dumbo spawn. They've never seen each other until I moved them next to each other. But as soon as I moved them next to each other, they started flaring. It didn't matter that they'd never seen that fish before, they still flared. And that's because I make sure to jumble them up so that they get used to flaring at other fish. Because if you have, say these two girls have been next to each other for their entire lives, they've only ever flared at each other, and then they go to a show and then this girl only has this girl to flare at who she's never seen, she might not flare at her if she's only ever used to seeing one fish. So those are the few things that you want to keep in mind if you plan to breed and breed for show. Even if you're breeding for sale, it's a good idea to teach them to flare, because the best fish, or the best way to take pictures of a fish, is when it's flaring. People don't really like to buy a fish when you put a picture of it and it's just kind of sitting there. Like this guy, if I took a picture of him, not a lot of people are going to want to buy him because he's just sitting there. His fins aren't really open. But if I take a picture of this guy and he's all flared out and looking pretty, it's going to be easier to sell that fish. So that's why we flare them. That's why we jar them, aside from the fact that we just have so many fish. It'd be impossible to keep them all in 2.5, 5, 10, whatever the Google pet people have told you is the minimum. It's just impossible to do that. So that's why as a show breeder we use jars. We teach them to flare because we want them to be able to show themselves off to the best of their ability. So that's just a little bit on showing. If you're really interested in entering shows and stuff, I highly suggest you check out Jeanne at Inglorious Bettas channel, because she did a really wonderful video on how to select your show fish and enter them and send them off to a show. So if you're really interested in the whole process, I would definitely check out her channel for that video. So that's all I'm going to really talk about for today. I really do need to get some water changes done, and I have so much show planning stuff to do. I have to start getting entries sorted and money sorted and start packing, because I have to drive 10 hours to Georgia to put on this show. So it's a big deal. Lastly, I really want to thank anyone who's bought snails or plants or fish from me in the last month or two. All of your guys' purchases have been donated to the Eastern Betta Society to help us put on this show. as clubs, we're having a real hard time kind of making ends meet, especially species specific clubs like betta clubs, guppy clubs, killie clubs, because there's not a lot of activity going on. People are lazy. People want to talk fish on Facebook. They don't want to have to get in their car and drive to a show or to a meeting. And so every little bit helps. Every little bit counts when you're trying to raise money and put on these shows. So, you know, I really appreciate everybody who's bought fish. I just shipped out fish the other day. And, you know, all those fish have been donated to the Eastern Betta Society so that we can put on this show and have people come and see show fish and buy show fish and keep this hobby going. So that's all for now. If you're interested in coming to the show, it's in Noonan, Georgia. It's this Saturday, April 8th. I will put a link in the description with the info on how to get to the hotel and all that. If you want to enter a fish, it's not too late. You can contact me via email, and my email and stuff will be in the link in the description as well. If you are interested in seeing a live stream from the show, let me know. As I said before, I can't promise I'll be able to do it, but if I can, more than likely it will be on Facebook. So you need to make sure that you've liked my Facebook page, Moon River Bettas, and I'll put that link in the description as well. But I'm just not sure I can figure out how to do the YouTube live stream. I've done the Facebook one before and I know how to do it. So more than likely, if I am able to live stream, it'll be through Facebook and not YouTube. And I will do that through my Facebook page so that everybody can see it, because that's a public page. So, all right. That's all for now. I will either see you guys on Saturday or Friday for a live stream from the show, or if I'm not able to live stream, I will see you guys next week with lots of videos from the show. Pictures and stuff will be posted on my Facebook page. So if you want to follow along, you know, please go to my Facebook page and like it and follow it and all that good stuff. And then once this show mess is over with, I'm going to be able to get back to my regularly scheduled fish nerding out and reading and all that good stuff. So, you know, thanks for watching, and I'll check at you guys later.